All right, let's dive into it. The Seattle Seahawks hosted the Washington Redskins on Sunday at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. It was the road team that came out on top. The Redskins took a 17-14 win over the Seahawks, and there are several levels to the loss that makes this a disappointing loss. Probably the most disappointing loss of the 2017 season.
For sure.
Blair Walsh missed three field goals in the first half. The Seahawks failed to convert two two-point conversions. The Seahawks were charged with 16 penalties that cost them 138 yards. The Seahawks had a lead 14-10 when the Redskins got the ball with 59 seconds left, and Kirk Cousins took the Redskins 4 plays. He went 70 yards, and it was a touchdown. So,
oh my goodness!
Bringing that back.
It's never leaving. So let's talk about a pick. What are you most disappointed with? Seth, DJ, anybody, go for it.
Seahawks beat themselves. If you look at the stats here, we got 437. We outgained them 437 yards to 244. Our defense, for the most part, played rock solid until that very last, I would say, was that a minute and a half that we gave the Redskins? But we at time of possession wise, we beat them too. If you look at every stat points to the Hawks winning, except for penalties. We had 16 penalties for 138 yards. That's going to be a tough way to pull out a win when you have 16 penalties, because you're just beating yourselves so many times. So
going with the penalties, Seth. What
Yes.
were you most sour at?
Once again, I'd have to go with the penalties, just the sheer volume of penalties. And at home, you should not be committing that many penalties. I believe 10 of their penalties were on offense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's unacceptable when you're playing in your own stadium.
We need to spend some time discussing Blair Walsh and his activities. I think coming into Sunday's game, he was like 12 of 13 on the year, which is a pretty solid year for anyone to miss one kick coming in,
Yeah.
But he did miss 3 field goals in the first half, and that, do the math, that leaves 9 points on the board, and when your team loses by 3, people are going to be frustrated.
Even if you hit just one, it's going to go into overtime, and
right, in theory. I mean, it's or you could score one of those touchdowns, kick an extra point, and then convert one of those 2-point conversions you missed and go into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
many possibilities,
several different ways to score points. But let's talk about Blair Walsh right now. Do the Seahawks need to make a change? Is it there anyone better? What do they do at kicker?
Yeah, you just got to stick with Blair Walsh. Like you said, he's been 12 for 13 up until this point. You could point to the elements as one reason why he did miss those. That's kind of an easy cop-out, in my opinion, because if you're a kicker in the NFL, you should be able to kick, whatever the circumstances. But it just seems like those elements did affect him. He was overcommitting to the ball, and every one he missed, he hooked it to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be just a matter of inches in his approach. So, like I said, I think this one got chalked up to the circumstances. I think he let it get in his head too much. But like I said, he was 12 for 13. He'll come back. He'll return even stronger.
How do you fix a head case like that? Can you? Or is it over?
That's a good point.
No, he's got to fix that himself. I don't think there's much you can do you can't coach a player's mindset.
Can you?
Can
you not?
It takes time. It takes time, but Blair Walsh is a veteran. I mean, he's been in the league for a while, so I'm sure he's had days. I can't recall off the top of my head, with the exception of when he missed that field goal for Minnesota, but I'm sure he's had days like this. I think we got to give him, a couple more games. If he has another game like this, that's a cause for concern. But until we see another day, then, I mean, we got to stick with him. I can't think of any better option out there on the free agent market.
Yeah, I don't know a solution. Like you said, I think sticking with Blair Walsh is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was a tough day, a tough pill to swallow for Seahawks fans. Talk about the 2-point conversions. They missed 2 of them.
Yeah.
The first one was the most exciting play across every level of sport ever when they ran that. The Seahawks ran a 1-yard slant or whatever it was, very reminiscent of the Super Bowl they lost to the Patriots, where I don't even know. Was it Norman who jumped in front and picked it off?
Butler.
Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl, but on Sunday I think it was Josh Norman, correct? I don't know. If you know, call in 253-535-7332. Anyway, a Redskin picks it off, and they had the opportunity to go the length of the field and add on 2 points to their score because you could do that. And with nothing to lose, the Redskins are pitching the ball back all over the play. I was freaking out. I thought it was great. I was so entertained. I wanted them to play. I want football to be played like that all the time, but that would be rugby then, I guess. So I should start watching rugby.
I mean, yeah, it was.
Anyway, they missed that one, and then they didn't mean to cut you off, DJ.
No, you're good. You're good.
And then the other one that they missed was the Jimmy Graham. A pass to Jimmy Graham went literally right through his hands.
Yes.
That's 4 points. You win the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, why is that being overlooked as far as people talk about Blair Walsh missed a 3 field goals? Well, you left 4 points on the board. The team as a whole left 13 points on the board.
Yeah, it all goes back to the fact that we beat ourselves. Even on the 2 point plays, Jimmy Graham has been inconsistent with catching the ball this year, and that's been a problem. Then on the 2 point play that you were talking about, Christian, I was freaking out too. I was hoping, they were running that back, and I'm just like sitting there on my couch. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! Like this, they're gonna go ahead 2 more points. I think at that point it was. I actually don't remember the score, but anyways, that 2 plays that they would have scored, 2 points that they would have scored would have been huge in their momentum, and I think the loss would have been even worse if in fact they did get those 2 points.
I'm actually going to put more of this loss on the offense as a whole than just Blair Walsh, because the whole first half, the Seahawks were dominating field position-wise. We were at the 35, 40-yard line seemingly every possession that half, and they didn't score at all. How does that happen if you have Russell Wilson as your quarterback, who's supposed to be top 10 quarterback? You've got Doug Baldwin, Jimmy Graham, you've got all the weapons that you could ask for, and you can't even score a field goal?
Yeah.
No less any touchdowns?
Yeah.
We also got to give credit to where credit is due. I mean, the Redskins came in with 4 of their 5 starters on the offensive line out, and they were able to, they didn't quite get their rushing game going, but Kirk Cousins made the plays that needed to be made. He stood in the pocket a couple times there and just got, pummeled. One being a roughing the passer that kind of was big down the stretch in the fourth quarter, but he stood in and he made the throws necessary. And that throw to, I believe it was Dotson on the sideline where he went full extendo and caught that ball. They made the plays that they needed to make, because Seattle is not not an easy place to win.
There it is. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
where is an easy place to play in the NFL, DJ?
Cleveland.
He said it again. Said third week in a row. I'm calling him out. I get hate tweets over DJ saying everywhere's a hard place to play.
And that's fine. I've said it before. I believe there's no easy place to win in the NFL.
What about Cleveland?
Still in Cleveland, like you have all of these professional athletes. The NFL is the cream of the crop. Even if you're a bad NFL player, like this guy sucks. But really, when you think about it, we're not going to be. The average Joe is not going to be better than them. They're still going to be leaps and bounds above us in athleticism and things like that. So I'm going to stand by it. There's no easy place to win in the NFL. No matter how many starters are out, whether it's be 5 of your wide receivers, there is no easy place to win in the NFL.
All right, that's fine. Let's get back on track with the Seahawks game.
Sorry.
No, it's all good, dude. It's all good. No easy place to play, even if you're the home team in Seattle, because the Seahawks lost 17-14 against the Redskins on Sunday. We're still talking about it. Kirk Cousins led a 4-play, 70-yard drive that scored a touchdown, which ended up being for the win. Our buddy Kellen Westring was mad at the defensive scheme on Twitter. He was tweeting about how wrong, I guess, it would be to play the defense that the Seahawks played down the stretch. Do you have a problem with the way that they just let 4 plays go for 70 yards in the fourth quarter and lose the game like that, or what?
No, I don't personally have a problem with it. To my knowledge, they were in man coverage on that big play that Shaq Griffin gave up, and that could be just a rookie mistake there. You're matched up with a pretty fast wide receiver in Dotson.
Yeah, that big chunk play down the left sideline where he made like a diving, like you talked about, a diving grab, but then Griffin didn't touch him right away.
And he
kind of like rolled almost all the way into the end zone. You got to touch him and be down by contact.
He just flat out outran him, and that's like you said. You gotta jam him a little bit or do something at on the line of scrimmage.
So they should have done something different defensively.
Yes.
Okay, Seth, tell me why.
if you're giving up 70 yards in 4 plays, something's not working. That means the coverage is almost certainly too soft if you're giving them almost 15, 20 yards a play.
There you go. I mean, that's another element to be mad at. This is why this is the most disappointing loss of the 2017 season, because everywhere you turn, there's something to be mad at.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can forgive the 3 missed field goals or the 2-point conversions, well, they blew it in the last minute of the game.
Yeah.
They hurt themselves for the entire game. I mean, we can come back and talk to this later, which we will. So stick around, because we're going to come back to more Seahawks stuff later in